Welcome to my channel. Today, we're going to discuss one of the most fundamental theorems in probability and statistics, the law of large numbers. This principle is the reason why casinos always win in the long run, why insurance companies can make reliable predictions, and why sampling works in machine learning. Let's start with a paradox that perfectly illustrates this concept. Imagine you're at a casino watching a roulette wheel spin. Each individual spin is completely random. The ball could land on red, black, or green with no way to predict the exact outcome. A player might win one round, lose the next, win 3 in a row. It seems totally chaotic. Yet despite this randomness, casinos are extremely profitable businesses. They know with remarkable precision how much money they'll make each month. How is this possible? The answer lies in the law of large numbers. While any single spin is unpredictable, the average outcome over thousands and millions of spins becomes increasingly predictable. The casino doesn't need to win every hand. They just need a small edge, and over many trials, that edge translates into guaranteed profit. This is the beautiful insight we're going to explore today. Before we dive into the law of large numbers, let's make sure we're clear on what probability actually means. When we say a fair coin has a 50% chance of landing heads, what does that really mean? This is actually a deeper question than it first appears. Theoretical probability tells us that for a fair coin, the probability of heads equals 0.5 or 50%. This is the mathematical truth. It's what should happen in an ideal world. But here's the thing. If you actually flip a coin 10 times, you might get 7 heads and 3 tails. That's a 70% heads rate, which is way off from 50%. Does that mean the coin is unfair? Not at all. This gap between the theoretical probability and what we actually observe is completely normal for small sample sizes. The problem isn't with our theory, it's that we haven't collected enough data yet. This disconnect between what probability tells us should happen and what we see in practice is exactly what the law of large numbers addresses. It bridges the gap between theoretical probability and observed frequency. Now let's state the law of large numbers formally. The law says that as the number of trials increases, the sample average converges to the expected value. In mathematical notation, we write x bar n, which represents the sample mean of n observations, converges to mu, the true expected value, as n approaches infinity. Think of it like a funnel. When you have just one or a few observations, there's a lot of uncertainty. The sample average could be anywhere. But as you collect more and more data, the distribution of possible sample averages gets narrower and narrower, eventually squeezing down to a single point, the true expected value. There are actually 2 versions of this law. The weak law of large numbers says that the probability of being far from the true mean approaches 0 as sample size increases. The strong law is even more powerful. It says that the sample average will almost surely converge to the true mean. In practical terms, both tell us the same reassuring message. Collect enough data and your estimate will be accurate. Let's see the law of large numbers in action with a simple coin flip experiment. We'll flip a fair coin many times and track the running average. That's the cumulative proportion of heads as we go. Watch what happens as we accumulate more flips. In the beginning, with just a few flips, the running average jumps around wildly. We might start with heads, giving us a 100% heads rate, then tails brings it to 50%, then heads again pushes it to 67%. These early fluctuations are dramatic. The line bounces up and down unpredictably. But as we keep flipping, something remarkable happens. The wild oscillations begin to calm down. By the time we hit 100 flips, the average is already staying close to 0.5. By 500 flips, it's practically hugging the 50% line. This is the law of large numbers in its purest form. The running average inevitably stabilizes around the true probability. The randomness doesn't disappear, but it becomes increasingly irrelevant as sample size grows. Let's look at another classic example, rolling a die. A standard 6-sided die can land on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Each outcome has a 1/6 probability. Now here's an interesting question. What's the expected value of a die roll? If you calculate it, the expected value is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6, all divided by 6, which equals 3.5. But wait, you can never actually roll a 3.5. It's impossible for any single die roll. Yet the law of large numbers tells us that if we roll the die hundreds or thousands of times and calculate the average, that average will converge to exactly 3.5. This is a beautiful illustration of what expected value really means. It's not the most likely outcome, it's the long-run average. As we roll more and more dice, the histogram of outcomes evens out, each face appearing roughly 1/6 of the time, and the running average settles precisely at that impossible value of 3.5. Now you might be wondering, how many samples do I actually need? Is 10 enough? 100? 1,000? This is one of the most practical questions in statistics, and the law of large numbers gives us guidance. Let's compare 4 different sample sizes: 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000. With just 10 samples, the running average is all over the place. It might end up at 40% or 60%, far from the true 50%. With 100 samples, things are calmer, but there's still noticeable variation. At 1,000 samples, the line is quite smooth and stays very close to the target. And at 10,000, it's practically a flat line at exactly 50%. The key insight is the standard error formula. The standard error equals sigma divided by the square root of n. This tells us that precision improves with the square root of sample size. To cut your error by half, you need 4 times as many samples. To cut it by a factor of 10, you need 100 times as many samples. This square root relationship is why statisticians often aim for sample sizes in the hundreds or thousands. It's the sweet spot between accuracy and practicality. Let's dive a bit deeper into the mathematics behind the law of large numbers. The key insight comes from understanding how variance behaves when we take averages. For a single observation, the variance is sigma squared. That's just the inherent variability in our random variable. But here's the magic. When we take the average of n independent observations, the variance of that average is sigma squared divided by n. This is huge. It means the variability of our estimate shrinks linearly with sample size. As n gets larger, the variance of the sample mean approaches 0. We can visualize this as a probability distribution that squeezes tighter and tighter around the true mean. With n equals 1, it's wide and spread out. With n equals 10, it's noticeably narrower. With n equals 100, it's quite concentrated. And as n approaches infinity, the distribution collapses to a single spike at mu. The formal foundation comes from Chebyshev's inequality, which states that the probability of being more than epsilon away from the mean is bounded by sigma squared divided by n times epsilon squared. As n increases, this bound goes to 0, proving convergence. There are actually 2 flavors of the law of large numbers, and understanding the difference is important for theoretical completeness. They're called the weak law and the strong law. The weak law of large numbers states that for any small epsilon you choose, the probability that the sample average differs from the true mean by more than epsilon approaches 0 as n increases. Think of it as saying the sample mean usually gets close to the true value. It's like a homing pigeon that usually finds its way home, but might occasionally take some detours. The strong law of large numbers is more powerful. It states that with probability 1, the sample average will converge to the truth, not just usually, but definitely in the long run. It's like a guided missile that's guaranteed to reach its target. Mathematically, the strong law says p of the limit of x bar n equals mu equals 1. This almost sure convergence is a stronger guarantee than convergence in probability. For most practical applications, both laws give the same reassurance. Your sample average will converge to the truth. Let's look at a real-world application that affects all of us: political polling. How can pollsters predict election outcomes by surveying just 1 or 2,000 people out of a population of hundreds of millions? The answer is the law of large numbers. When a polling organization randomly selects 1,000 voters from a population of 100 million, they're taking a tiny sample, just 0.001% of the population. Yet, if the sampling is truly random, the law of large numbers guarantees that the sample proportion will be close to the true population proportion. Here's the remarkable thing. A sample of about 1,000 people gives a margin of error of roughly plus or minus 3% with 95% confidence. It doesn't matter if the population is 1 million or 100 million, the sample size determines the precision, not the population size. This is why you see polls with about 1,000 respondents able to accurately predict national elections. They're not magic, they're applying the law of large numbers. One of the most elegant applications of the law of large numbers is the Monte Carlo method. Let's use it to estimate the value of pi, one of the most famous mathematical constants. Here's the setup. Imagine a square with a quarter circle inscribed in it. The square has side length 1, so its area is 1. The quarter circle has radius 1, so its area is pi divided by 4. Now, if we randomly throw darts at this square, the probability of landing inside the quarter circle is exactly the ratio of areas, which is pi over 4. So, if we throw thousands of darts and count how many land inside the circle versus outside, we can estimate pi as 4 times the ratio of inside points to total points. Watch as points accumulate randomly. Some land inside the curved region, others outside. As we add more and more points, the ratio stabilizes, and our estimate of pi converges to 3.14159, the true value. This is Monte Carlo simulation in action. The law of large numbers guarantees that with enough random samples, we can estimate any expected value, including complex integrals that would be impossible to compute analytically. If you're working in machine learning, the law of large numbers is working behind the scenes every time you train a model. Let me explain how. When we train neural networks using stochastic gradient descent, we don't compute the gradient over the entire dataset. That would be way too expensive. Instead, we sample a small mini-batch of maybe 32 or 64 examples, compute the gradient on just this batch, and update our weights. Each mini-batch gives us a noisy estimate of the true gradient direction. Batch 1 might point slightly up and to the left, batch 2 points more to the right, batch 3 points downward. Individually, they're all over the place, but here's where the law of large numbers saves us. Over many updates, these noisy gradient estimates average out to the true gradient direction. The noise cancels out, and the model follows the correct path toward lower loss. This is why training works even with small batches. Each update might be imprecise, but the accumulation of many updates follows the mathematically optimal trajectory. Let's wrap up with the key insights from the law of large numbers and why it matters so much. Think about what averaging really does. If you have many noisy, random signals and you average them together, something magical happens. The noise cancels out, and you're left with a smooth, clean signal. This is the essence of the law of large numbers. Random fluctuations cancel each other out when you take enough samples. Here are the 3 takeaways to remember. First, randomness cancels out. Individual random variations wash away in the average, revealing the true underlying pattern. Second, more samples means better estimates. Specifically, your error decreases as 1 over the square root of n, so collecting more data always helps, just with diminishing returns. Third, this is the foundation of all statistical inference. It's why sampling works, why polls can predict elections, why Monte Carlo methods can compute integrals, and why machine learning with mini-batches converges to optimal solutions. The sample mean x bar n converges to the expected value, mu, as n approaches infinity. This simple statement underlies all of modern statistics and machine learning. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to the channel for more AI engineering content. Thanks for watching.